Lara Onuoha woke before dawn, her phone buzzing insistently on the bedside table. Half asleep, she glanced at the screen. Bank alert. Unauthorized charge of 1,200,000 Nigerian nairas at Zanzibar Sea Breeze Resort. Bank alert. Unauthorized charge of 850,000 Nigerian nairas at Ocean View Rooftop Bar. Her heart stopped. She bolted upright, fumbling for her glasses. These charges, she recognized them immediately as hers, but she had never visited Zanzibar. And she certainly hadn't spent nearly 2 million naira last night. She threw off the covers and stomped to the hallway. Tolu's side of the bed was empty. His phone lay face down. In the dim light, she peered into the living room. No sound. No sign of either her husband or his mother, Mama Ronk, who had arrived last evening for what Tolu called family time. How could this be happening? Her pulse thrummed in her ears as she snatched up her own phone and dialed the bank's fraud hotline with trembling fingers. Lara, voice shaking hello. This is Lara Onuoha. I just received alerts for charges I did not make. Bank rep, calm. Scripted good morning, ma'am. May I confirm your account number and some security details? 5 minutes later, Lara sat at the kitchen table, phone pressed to her ear as the rep recited transactions. Bank rep. Ma'am, I show 2 reservations at the Sea Breeze Resort on Kazingo Island, 1 suite and 1 deluxe room. Lara's breath caught. That's my husband, she whispered to herself. He booked 2 rooms, 1 for him, 1 for his mother. Lara, please freeze my card immediately. Also, can you tell me if the card is still being used? Bank rep. I'm placing a hold on it now. There are no further transactions in the last 10 minutes. She thanked the rep, her hands trembling so badly she almost dropped the phone. When she hung up, her mind whirled. 12 hours ago, Tolu had kissed her cheek before bedtime, promising to bring souvenirs. Souvenirs? He'd left to meet a client in Abuja, he'd said. Abuja, not Zanzibar. Barefoot, she sank onto the couch, hugging a throw pillow. How long had he been planning this? She clicked open their messaging app. Lara, good morning. Everything okay? Tolu, hey love. All good. Sorry, no signal last night. You awake? She scrolled up. There were no other messages. No mention of a business trip to Zanzibar. Her chest tightened. A rustle at the front door. Before she could look up, the door swung open and Mama Ronk swept in, her flamboyant kaftan swirling. Mama Ronk smiling broadly. Good morning, Lara. Isn't beautiful Zanzibar? I almost can't believe how bright the sun is. Lara rose slowly. Zanzibar. Her voice was flat. I thought Tolu was in Abuja. Mama Ronk's smile faltered. Then she shrugged, tossing her bag onto the couch. Oh, things changed. He brought me along, said I deserved a break. Lara's pulse pounded. With my card? Mama Ronk blinked. Your card? Lara, voice rising. Yes, my card. I got bank alerts for 2 million naira spent last night. Mama Ronk's lips thinned. That can't be right. I only paid the cab driver and some shopping. But Lara had seen the hotel charges on her bank app. My bank froze it. I'm calling him now. Grabbing her phone, Lara stalked into the hallway. Mama Ronk watched from the doorway, her face paling. As Lara dialed, the camera lingers on Mama Ronk's trembling hand and Lara's determined glare. The chapter ends on the of Lara waiting on the call, the screen fading to black just as Tolu's name flashes. The ringtone sounded distant, echoing in Lara's head like a taunt. She steadied herself and brought the phone to her ear. Lara. Tolu, where are you? Why did you use my card to take your mother on vacation? Silence. Tolu finally, annoyed Lara. I'm in a meeting. Can we talk later? Lara, voice steely. No. We're talking now. You're in Zanzibar. I'm in Lagos, and you used my money. Explain. He laughed, cold, dismissive. Tolu, this is ridiculous. You know how much my mother's done for us. She needed a break. Business trip included her. Lara, you booked 2 rooms with my card. That's theft. There was a pause. Tolu, you're making a scene. I'll call you back. He hung up. Lara slammed the phone down, breath heaving. She stormed back to the living room, where Mama Ronk stood, arms crossed. Mama Ronk, hush dear. I think you should calm down. Tolu didn't mean. Lara didn't mean to steal from me. Ma, you're complicit. How long has this been going on? Mama Ronk swallowed. I didn't know it was your card. He said it was a company card. Lara's jaw clenched. Your company? Or my money? Chaos erupted as their neighbor, Mrs. Adeyemi, banged on the door. Mrs. Adeyemi through the door. Maya? Are you okay in there? I heard shouting. Lara, yelling I'm fine. Please go back to your apartment. She ignored Mrs. Adeyemi and addressed Mama Ronk. I'm going to sort this out. Pack your things. You're coming back with me. Mama Ronk's eyes widened. Lara, wait. But Lara already had her keys in hand. She swept past the older woman and down the stairs. The camera follows Lara, determined and in control, as Mama Ronk trails behind, dazed. They reached the lobby. Lara hailed a cab. Lara, driver, take us to the airport. Flight to Lagos in 1 hour. Mama Ronk, whisper but the resort. Lara, you'll find another later. The taxi peeled away, leaving Mama Ronk clutching her purse, her dreams of sun and sea crumbling. Meanwhile, Lara sat rigidly, mind racing through the steps ahead. Should she call a lawyer? A private investigator? Or confront Tolu at home? As the taxi weaves through traffic, the chapter closes on Lara's steely profile against the window, the skyline of Lagos looming, a battlefield about to be entered. Back in her safe, book-lined study, Lara sank into her leather chair and closed her eyes. Around her, the hum of the city felt distant, insignificant compared to the betrayal she faced. She opened her eyes, lifted her laptop, and typed the first email of many. To Chuck's and Partners Law Firm. Subject: Urgent. Financial abuse and fraud investigation. She hit send, then picked up her cell to dial the private investigator she'd found online just last night. PI, on speaker. Good evening, Ms. Onuoha. How can I help? Lara, I need you tracking every transaction my husband makes. I want real-time updates, credit cards, bank accounts, even phone location if possible. PI, that's outside my usual scope, but for an extra fee, I can. You need it? Lara, absolutely. She gave her credit card to the PI, her other card, thankfully untouched. As the call ended, she exhaled deeply. This was the moment she stepped off the ledge, from victim to strategist. She would not be caught off guard again. Her phone pinged, a message from Ada, her college friend. Ada, are you okay? I saw something on Insta. Are you and Tolu on holiday together? Lara typed back quickly. Lara, no. He's in Zanzibar with my money. I'm back in Lagos. Ada, Holy, want me to send you screenshots? Someone tagged you in a video of Mama Ronk in the lobby causing a scene. Within seconds, Lara's screen filled with images. Mama Ronk berating a concierge, grabbing a staff member's lapel, her voice rising. The video cut to Tolu trying to pull her away. Everyone staring, cameras rolling. Lara smiled grimly. The scandal would be bigger than she'd hoped. Thank you, she whispered to Ada. Keep them coming. She switched tabs to her banking app. The PI's message popped up. PI, charge attempt at $15,000 for a yacht excursion declined. She leaned forward. Oh, it's on, she whispered. Her phone buzzed again, this time an email from her lawyer's office. Chuck's and Partners, we have drafted a letter of demand to Mr. Olabo Tolu, citing financial misconduct, abuse of marital trust, and grounds for immediate divorce. Please review attached. She opened the attachment, a sternly worded letter, bullet-pointed, precise. Perfect, she muttered. With a few clicks, she scheduled it to be emailed at 9 a.m. tomorrow, giving Tolu exactly 24 hours to respond or face public filings. As midnight approached, Lara closed her laptop and stretched. Tomorrow would be battle. Tonight, she allowed herself a moment of calm, a hot shower, pajamas, and her favorite novel. She drifted to sleep with a plan forming. No more silence, only decisive action. The chapter ends on Lara's serene face in moonlight, contrasted with her inbox full of scandalous evidence, her weapon of choice. Morning sunlight filtered through heavy curtains as Lara slipped into her kitchen. She poured black coffee into a porcelain mug and opened her laptop. The email to Tolu was still in drafts, scheduled to send at 9 a.m. But the real fireworks began before then. Her phone buzzed incessantly, news outlets tagging her in stories, lady's credit card used abroad, scandal at Zanzibar resort. Social media exploded. Lara scrolled through Twitter. Hashtags like #Cardgate and #Zanzibar drama trended. But no mention of her name yet. She liked that. Controlled leaks, not chaos. At precisely 9 a.m., Lara pressed send. Instantly, Chuck's and partner's letter flew into Tolu's inbox. She watched the read receipt pop up seconds later. Read at 9:01 a.m. She walked into the living room and flipped on the TV. A news anchor covered the scandal. Video clips of Mama Ronk's meltdown, shots of Tolu's smug face as he paid for champagne with her card. Anchor, on TV and in breaking news, the Olabode mother-son duo has become a viral sensation for all the wrong reasons. Our legal correspondent says this could lead to serious charges. We'll bring you updates as they come. Lara set her coffee down and dialed her friend Ada. Lara, hey, the letter went out. How's the coverage? Ada, excited you're the hottest topic on Lagos social media. People are calling you a silent Avenger. I love it. Lara smiling good. Keep the narrative financial abuse and betrayal going. No mudslinging, no name-calling. Just cold, hard facts. Ada got it. You're a genius. After hanging up, Lara flexed her fingers. She called her assistant, Toby. Lara, Toby, cancel all my meetings today. I'm holding back-to-back press calls at 11 and 2. I need a media kit and a statement. Lara Onuoha, successful entrepreneur fighting financial abuse. Toby, on it, boss. By mid-morning, she was live on 3 radio stations, 2 TV networks, and dozens of online news portals. She spoke calmly, articulately, about trust in marriage, the hidden crisis of financial manipulation, and her decision to stand up, not just for herself, but for all women. Meanwhile, Tolu's phone buzzed relentlessly. He paced the lobby of his brother's office in Ikoyi, blame plastered across his features. Text from Mama Ronk, Lara is ruining me. Text from Kunnel, cousin bro, what did you do? Everyone's talking. Missed call from Tolu's boss. He returned the call, voice shaky. Boss, through phone Olabode, we need to talk. That viral video. You realize it's problematic. Tolu's face went pale. As the chapter closes, we cut back to Lara. She watches the sunset from her balcony, hands folded, silent and victorious. Late that evening, Lara's phone pinged with a DM. It was Kunnel's handle, Tolu's cousin. Kunnel, Lara, can we talk? Meet me at the grill, 6 tomorrow at noon. She typed back. Why? Minutes later, Kunnel called. Kunnel, whisper please don't bring any cameras. I have information about Tolu, things you don't know. Her curiosity pricked. I'll be there. Lara arrived dressed in a crisp white blouse and tailored trousers, commanding respect. She scanned the restaurant and saw Kunnel in a corner, hunched over his drink. She slid into the booth. Kunnel's usual jovial face was drawn tight. Kunnel, thanks for coming. Lara, you sounded urgent. What's up? He hesitated, taking a sip. This isn't my place to talk, he began, but I couldn't watch you get hurt worse. Lara, hurt worse how? Kunnel set down his glass. Tolu's been doing this for years. Your card is just the tip of the iceberg. He's got secret accounts, one in Dubai, one in London. He funnels money there, siphons from every woman he's been with. Lara's eyes narrowed. Are you sure? He nodded vigorously. I've seen statements. I can get you the proof. He tapped his phone. Tonight, I'll send encrypted files. She exhaled slowly. Thank you. But you could get in trouble. Kunnel, I know. But it's time someone stood up to him. Lara reached out and touched his hand. You're doing the right thing. He shrugged awkwardly. Just don't hurt me in the fallout. She smiled faintly. No promises. Back at home, Lara plugged a flash drive into her laptop. Folders popped up. Bank statements, wire transfers, offshore trust documents. Her chest pounded. She copied them into a secured folder, then emailed everything to her lawyer with a subject line, "Additional evidence, offshore accounts." Moments later, her phone buzzed again. This time it was a tweet from a lifestyle influencer. At a Noja official. #Cardgate just got bigger. Sources say there's more to the story. Stay tuned for Lara's next move. Lara allowed herself a small grin. The web was tightening around Tolu. He didn't know it yet, but her silent planning was far from over. The final shot is her reflection in the computer screen, eyes sharp, lips curved in a strategic smile, ready for the next round. The video surfaced just as the sun was peeking over the resort's coral white facade. Lara sat in her home office, phone in hand, scrolling through a group chat with Ada and Toby. Ada, screen cap, Mama Ronk losing it face with tears of joy. Toby, this is gold for your narrative. Everyone's talking. Lara tapped the play button. On screen, Mama Ronk, draped in a kaftan more suited to a gala, approached the hotel manager behind the polished wood desk of the Zanzibar Sea Breeze Resort. Mama Ronk, voice raised, young man. Where is my butler? I asked 3 times for more towels. Manager, bowing, Madam, I'm the front office manager. Your butler will be right up. Mama Ronk, indignant, your what? Butler. I don't care about titles. I'm a guest of honor here. She jabbed a manicured nail at the manager's nameplate. Behind her, Tolu stood sheepishly in a black polo, cheeks flaming. At his mother's side, he attempted to pull her back, but she wrenched free. Mama Ronk, how dare you speak to me like that, boy? I've stayed in Ritz-Carltons worldwide. The camera swung to capture the stunned concierge staff, then a cluster of tourists gawking with phones raised. A housekeeping supervisor tried to calm Mama Ronk, but she slapped his hand away, shouting for security. Lara leaned forward. Oh, she did not just. She sent the clip instantly to her lawyer. Lara, text, add this to the memo. Hotel assault circumstances. Will sue for damages. She watched Mama Ronk's meltdown 3 more times. Each replay sharpened her resolve. Tolu's mother, a respected Lagos matriarch, was publicly embarrassing herself and, by extension, her son. As the clip racked up views, travel blog influencers began dissecting every frame. Comments ranged from "We love strong women" to "Get a grip, mama." A popular account, @ZanziVibes, appended a caption, "When entitlement meets reality. #Cardgate continues." Meanwhile, halfway around the world, at the Sea Breeze lobby, security chief, into radio code orange in the lobby, hostile guest. Dispatch 2 guards. Guard 1, on it, sir. Tolu crouched beside his mother, whispering frantic apologies. The manager, cheeks still red, straightened his tie and leaned toward a concealed camera. Manager, to camera, end scene. Let's hope PR can salvage this. Back in Lagos, Lara muted her phone and closed her eyes. The fallout was unstoppable. She poured a glass of red wine and paused at the balcony, the city lights flickering like distant stars. She pictured her next move, legal notices, media strategic leaks, and a final public statement, all aimed at dismantling Tolu's image until nothing remained. The chapter ends with Lara's reflection in the sliding door glass, poised, unyielding, and already 10 steps ahead. Rain pattered against the windows as Lara sank into her favorite armchair, the glow of laptop screens illuminating her face. She had one goal tonight: turn public embarrassment into legal leverage. First, she dialed the Sea Breeze corporate office in South Africa. PA on speaker. Sea Breeze corporate. How can I help you? Lara, come. I'm Lara Onuoha, guest ID 44219. I need a full incident report from your Zanzibar resort on July 12th. PA, one moment, Ms. Onuoha. Hold music played briefly, then a soft-spoken manager came on. Court manager. Ms. Onuoha, I'm Peter Vander Merwe. How can I assist? Lara, Your front office manager unleashed a security incident last week, assaulting staff and causing a disturbance. I want every CCTV clip, every witness statement. Prepare to forward them to my attorney by 9 a.m. tomorrow. Peter pauses. Yes, ma'am. We'll expedite that. She hung up and opened her email. 2 new attachments from Ada. High-resolution stills of Mama Ronk's meltdown, complete with metadata timestamps. She forwarded them to her PR consultant. To PR team. Use these for a controlled narrative. Entitlement, abuse of privilege, systemic problem. Next, she called her travel agent, Mr. Bello, who had originally booked the flight. Mr. Bello. Lara. How tragic. Your trip. Lara, cutting in, cancel any future reservations under Tolu's name. I want zero association. Also, notify your network. He's persona non grata. Mr. Bello, stammering, of course. I'll issue a notice. Finally, she phoned her lawyer, Chucks. Chucks. Lara, I have all the documents. We'll file charges, fraud, abuse of marital trust, and public nuisance for Mama Ronk. I suggest starting in Lagos High Court and inquiring with Zanzibar authorities. Lara, perfect. Begin paperwork. And prepare a cease and desist for any media outlet using my name without permission. Chucks. On it. By 1 a.m., Lara had orchestrated a multi-front campaign. Legal action, PR messaging, travel bans, and a social media embargo. She sat back and surveyed her digital empire. Emails sent, calls made, lines drawn. Yet a final ping unsettled her. A text from an unknown number. Unknown. Be careful. You don't know who else is watching. Lara frowned. Was this from Tolu? From Mama Ronk's allies? Her phone screen flickered as the rain intensified, a storm mirroring the one she had unleashed. She tapped block, but the warning lingered. The chapter closes on her laptop screen, an empty document titled Next Steps, cursor blinking ominously. The next afternoon, Lara arrived at a discreet cafe in Ikoyi, her meeting place with an informant who claimed to have inside knowledge about Tolu's hidden finances. She glanced around. Sleek marble floors, soft jazz, a scattering of well-heeled patrons. Kunnel almost didn't recognize her without her power suits. He wore a simple polo and jeans, looking uncharacteristically nervous. Kunnel, standing. Lara, thanks for coming. Lara, smiling tightly, you said this was urgent. They sat near a potted orchid. Lara ordered green tea. Kunnel chose coffee. Kunnel, it's worse than you know. Lara, I've seen offshore trusts, but this is different. He slid a slim envelope across the table. Inside, bank statements from Dubai and London, shell company invoices, and a wire transfer log. Lara, reading, he funneled 50 million Nigerian nairas to an account in Dubai, labeled consulting fees. But he has no consulting firm. Kunnel. Exactly. And there's more. Properties in Portugal, a safe deposit box in Geneva. Lara stared. How did you get this? Kunnel. I worked for his firm's audit team last year. I saw irregular ledgers and tried to flag them, but Tolu's partner buried the report. If I'd spoken up, I would have been blacklisted. His voice cracked slightly. When I saw what he did to you, using your card, dragging his mother, I couldn't stay silent. Lara closed the envelope. Your risk is enormous. Kunnel. I know, but this is bigger than family. He paused. I want to help you build a case strong enough to ruin him, financially and reputationally. She leaned forward. I need you to testify, if we go to court. Will you? He exhaled. Yes. I'll sign an affidavit. They shook hands. An uneasy alliance formed, once bloodbound, now sworn enemies. As Lara left the cafe, she felt the weight of what they'd set in motion. Tolu's world was about to crumble from the inside. But had she just put Kunnel in the line of fire? The question lingered like smoke. The chapter ends on Lara's reflection in a tinted car window, determined yet haunted by the price her ally might pay. Back at the Zanzibar Sea Breeze Resort, Tolu and Mama Ronk were still reeling from their first public humiliation. Now they faced another shock. A sleek yacht bobbed at the private dock, white-hulled and promising exclusivity. A uniformed attendant led them aboard. Attendant. Welcome, Mr. Onuoha. The cost is $15,000 for 3 hours, inclusive of captain and crew. Tolu, reaching for his wallet, charge it to my card. He swapped wallets, producing Lara's purple visa, still the only one he had. He tapped it on the reader. Machine, declined. He frowned. Try again. Machine, declined. Mama Ronk's eyes widened. My son, what's happening? He jabbed at the reader. This must be a mistake. The captain, a bronzed local with a gold hoop earring, approached. Captain, sir, we need payment before departure. Tolu, voice rising. I'm sure, just check again. The captain held up a finger. He swiped, then looked up, apologetic. Captain, I'm sorry, sir. It's still declined. A hush fell over the assembled crew. Tolu's face flushed crimson as other guests on nearby yachts noticed. A luxury cruiser named Azure Dream launched a horn salute, mocking him. Mama Ronk, this is an outrage. How dare they? She drew herself up, but her legs trembled. Tolu's phone buzzed incessantly. Messages from his bank, his travel agent, even from Chuck's and partners, though he didn't know it yet. He thumbed one. Bank alert. Your card has been frozen due to suspected fraud. Contact your wife immediately. He looked at his phone, then at his mother's crestfallen face. The sun glinted off the turquoise water, mocking his predicament. He tried to hail the captain again, but the man had already turned away. Security approached with polite firmness. Security lead. Mr. Onuoha, I'm afraid you cannot board without payment. Tolu, voice breaking, I'll transfer funds. Give me 20 minutes. Security lead. I'm sorry, sir. Policy is policy. As they were escorted off the yacht, other vacationers whispered and pointed. A resort photographer snapped a discreet photo, another potential viral clip. Lara, half a world away, received a notification. Top story. Couple denied yacht after card freeze. She clicked the link. An online magazine headlined, entitled Son Denied Paradise, showing Tolu's shocked face. She allowed herself a small, sardonic smile. At the dock, Tolu and Mama Ronk stood drenched in humiliation. He turned to his mother, shoulders slumped. Tolu, quiet, I'm sorry, Ma. I didn't know she'd do this. Mama Ronk, voice wavering. I should have listened when you said it was her card. You promised me you'd handle it. He put an arm around her, but she shrugged him off, stepping toward the parking lot. Tolu fished for his phone. Tolu, to himself, Lara, please call me back. The chapter closes on them walking away from the dock, thick with shame, their luxury fantasies sunk beneath the waves. The return flight was nothing like the opulence Tolu had imagined. They boarded a cramped regional jet, no private lounge, no complimentary champagne. Instead, they were relegated to standard coach seats, squeezed between sunburned tourists clutching fanny packs. At Lagos Murtala Muhammad International Airport, an airport escort met them. Escort. Mr. and Mrs. Onuoha, security will accompany you through customs. Tolu, confused, why? We're VIP passengers. Escort. I'm sorry, sir. Your names are on a baggage hold list. Please follow me. Mama Ronk clutched her designer handbag. This is ridiculous, why? Tolu didn't answer. He felt cold dread in his chest as they were led into a small office. Customs agents swiped their passports and scanned a file. Agent. Mr. Onuoha, Ms. Onuoha, your travel privileges have been suspended pending investigation. Mama Ronk, voice quivering. What investigation? Agent. Unauthorized use of a third-party credit card, fraud allegations. You may collect your luggage and leave the premises. They hurried through the terminal, heads bowed. Outside, Lagos's humid air hit them like a wall. No driver awaited. No car service. Tolu's phone was silent. The morning news vans were already parked at arrivals. Cameras peered at them through windshields. Reporter, off camera, Mr. Onuoha, Care to comment on the fraud allegations? They quickened their pace. Tolu hailed a yellow cab. Mama Ronk struggled into the back seat. Mama Ronk hissing where to. Tolu. Home. Change the locks before we get back. The ride from the airport was agonizing. Every billboard seemed to bear their faces. By the time they pulled into their Lekki home, dusk had fallen. The gate was closed, a sign hung from the intercom. Access denied. Tolu fumbled for his key, but it wouldn't fit. He pushed, rapped on the door. Inside, Lara's silhouette appeared behind the frosted glass. Lara, through speaker, no entry. Your privileges have been revoked.
He sank to the ground.
Mama Ronk's sobs were barely audible. Inside, Lara watched from the window. Her home, once shared, now her fortress. She held her phone, reviewing the day's headlines. Resort scandal escalates. VIP access revoked for fraud suspects. Lara Onuoha builds empire of empowerment. She turned away, lights off. A single lamp cast her shadow long across the polished floor as she poured herself tea. Tomorrow she would file for divorce, launch her foundation, and speak at a women's summit. But tonight, she savored the silence. The chapter ends on Lara's backlit figure at the window, a queen surveying her reclaimed kingdom, while outside, Tolu and Mama Ronk pressed their faces to the glass, ghosts of entitlement denied entry. A pall of dusk settled over the Lekki Ape Expressway as the black Toyota Camry crawled toward Lara's apartment gate. Inside the car, Tolu sat rigidly beside Mama Ronk, their faces drained of color. The city lights blinked on, merging luxury high-rises and down-and-out shanties, but to them, everything felt wrong. Tolu's phone buzzed non-stop with news alerts. Breaking, Onuoha duo barred from resort yacht after card freeze. Exclusive, video of enraged matriarch goes viral, see the meltdown. Fraud allegations loom over Tolu Onuoha. He stared at the screen, cheeks burning. Mama Ronk dabbed her eyes with a silk handkerchief. Mama Ronk, whisper, my son. What have we done? Tolu, voice hollow, I don't know how to fix this, Ma. They arrived at the high-walled compound. The driveway gate remained locked. Tolu fumbled with his key fob, pressing the unlock button. The lights around the intercom flickered on, and a white placard swung from the speaker box. Access denied. Property locked. Call owner. Tolu's heart sank. He pressed the call button. Lara's face materialized on the small screen, unblinking, serene. Lara calmly, good evening. Tolu, voice cracking, please, let us in. We need to talk. Lara, you've had your chances. No entry. Mama Ronk, pleading Lara, darling, I'm sorry. Lara, save it.
Click.
The screen blinked out. Rain spat against the windshield as they sat in stunned silence. A lone security guard approached the car on foot, peering at them through the rain-streaked glass. Security guard, respectful, sir. Ma'am, there are instructions not to admit you. Tolu, defeated, understood. He leaned back, closing his eyes. Mama Ronk rested her head on his shoulder, sobbing quietly. As they waited for the guard to signal a taxi, Tolu realized their world had shrunk to this single moment, stranded outside the gates of the life they had taken for granted. Cut to, inside Lara's living room, she stood at the window, watching the empty car lights fade into the night. Her silhouette was elegant, bathed in the soft glow of a bedside lamp. She pressed a button on a sleek console. The intercom chimed, and she whispered, lock it. Then she turned away, hands folded, unassailable. The camera lingers on her expression, implacable, resolved, before cutting to black. Morning sunlight filtered through gauzy curtains as Lara prepared a pot of ginger tea in the open-plan kitchen. The house felt cavernous without the hum of Tolu's morning calls or Mama Ronk's laughter. Today, she would formalize the end. She arranged a folder on the marble countertop, thick with documents, legal affidavits, and the divorce petition drafted by Chucks and partners. The embossed gold letters on the cover read, Onuoha v. Onuoha, petition for dissolution of marriage. A soft knock sounded at the front door. She dropped her tea towel, smoothed her blouse, and crossed to answer. Tolu and Mama Ronk stood on the porch, Tolu in a rumpled shirt, Mama Ronk clutching a shawl. Their eyes were red-rimmed. Tolu voiced small, "Lara, please." "Lara, cool, come in." They stepped into the foyer. The house was immaculate, no sign of hurried retreat. Lara led them to the glass-topped dining table. She sat at one end. Tolu sank into a chair across from her, Mama Ronk at his side. "Lara, I hope you slept well." Tolu avoiding her gaze, "I." Lara interrupting, "Spare me apologies. This is business." She opened the folder and laid out the papers, account statements, proof of unauthorized charges, offshore wire transfers, and her attorney's letter. "Lara, the grounds are clear. Financial misconduct, abuse of marital trust, and willful contempt of our assets." She tapped the top page. "This petition will be filed this afternoon. You have two options. Sign this document and exit quietly, or I proceed and contest every asset in court." Tolu swallowed. "I'm sorry, Lara. I never meant for this to become." Lara voiced steel. "Intentions don't matter. Actions do. You stole my money, my trust, and my dignity. Today I reclaim my life." Mama Ronk's hand flew to her mouth. "Lara, please." "Lara, you enabled him. If you want to avoid being a witness in court, leave now and never return." Tolu looked at his mother, torn. Then he met Lara's eyes. "I won't sign." A charged silence. Lara's fingers hovered over her phone. "Lara, very well. I'll file the petition now. You'll receive a court summons." She stood, her chair gliding back. "I suggest you find somewhere else to stay. This house is no longer yours." Without another word, she swept past them. They remained seated, shock etched on their faces, as Lara's heels clicked away. Cut to Tolu gathering the folder in his hands, his knuckles white. Mama Ronk wept quietly. The final shot lingers on the divorce petition on the table, its pages fluttering in a breeze through an open window as the door closes behind him. News of the impending divorce spread through Tolu's family like wildfire. By late afternoon, his phone buzzed with messages from siblings, cousins, and family friends. Most were scolding. A few offered hollow sympathy. Text from Aisha, "Sister, this is a disaster. You've embarrassed the family." Text from Emeka, "Brother, get your act together or lose everything." Missed call from Uncle Bayo. Voicemail, "Tolu, this is your uncle. Call me immediately." He stared at the barrage, grief and anger warring in his chest. Mama Ronk hovered behind him, sobbing softly. Mama Ronk, "My son, maybe you should apologize, publicly." Tolu, "How? I've already lost everything." He dialed Emeka's number, hands shaking. Emeka, angry, "Where have you been?" "We've been left to pick up the pieces." Tolu, "I know I messed up. I'm trying to fix it." Emeka, "Fix it?" "The entire extended family is talking about Dorset properties next week. The board wants explanations. You dragged our name through the mud." Emeka hung up. Tolu looked at his mother, despair widening. "Tolu, they hate me now." Mama Ronk, voice breaking, "This wouldn't have happened if you'd told me the truth." At that moment, Lara's lawyer, Chucks, called. "Chucks, we've filed the petition. Also, we've served the discovery notice. You'll need to surrender all account statements, deeds, and proof of assets by next week." Tolu, "They want everything?" Chucks, "Yes. And failure means adverse judgment." He ended the call and slumped into a living room armchair. Mother and son sat in silence, the weight of familial condemnation pressing in. Cut to Lara at her foundation office, reviewing sponsorship proposals for her upcoming financial literacy summit. Her phone pinged, press inquiries and speaking invitations. She smiled, energized by every request. The stark contrast between their worlds, Tolu lost in family shame, Lara ascending in public admiration, creates a powerful tension. The camera holds on Lara, radiant in her purpose, before cutting back to Tolu's darkened living room, where echoes of his family's scorn reverberate. Late that evening, Lara welcomed Kunnel into her study. He carried a leather briefcase bulging with documents. The two sat at the antique writing desk, its surface gleaming under a banker's lamp. Lara, show me everything. Colonel, these are transaction logs. Wire transfers from your card and joint accounts, routed offshore. And here, he slid out a sealed envelope. Property deeds for apartments in Lisbon and a vineyard in Provence, all under shell company names. Lara leaned in, tracing the names and dates. He planned this for years. Her voice was low but fierce. Colonel, I also uncovered a nominee director in Switzerland. He used a Panamanian trust as a front, all legally opaque. She closed the folder with a soft snap. Time to hit him where it hurts. The next morning, Lara's lawyer filmed over a secure video line with international counsel in Zurich. Zurich attorney, Stern, we've placed a freeze on the Geneva safe deposit box and the Swiss trust. All transfers flagged. The Portuguese authorities are investigating the apartment acquisitions. Chucks. Excellent. We'll present this evidence in Lagos High Court tomorrow. Lara exhaled, relief and triumph mingling in her chest. Meanwhile, Tolu sat in a dimly lit conference room at Evans Bank, Ikoyi branch. He slid into a chair opposite a bank manager, eyes downcast. Bank manager, Mr. Onuoha, pursuant to court order, we have placed holds on these accounts.
He tapped his tablet.
Your Dubai account frozen. All related trust funds frozen. Your Portuguese property mortgage payments are in default. Tolu's head snapped up. You're telling me I can't access any of it? Bank manager, flat, I'm sorry, sir. Until the litigation is resolved, we cannot release funds. He rose abruptly and fled the room. Outside, he stood beneath fluorescent lights, the corridor stretching empty ahead, echoing with his footsteps. There would be no quick bailouts now. No social media rescue or family intervention could undo these freezes. Back at home, Mama Ronk confronted him. Mama Ronk, your properties? Gone. Tolu, voice hollow, frozen. She wept openly now. He reached for her hand but recoiled. This time, there was no forgiveness, only bitter regret. The chapter closes on Tolu staring at his laptop. An email notification from Airbnb showing booking confirmations for Lara's itinerary as a speaking engagement. Paid in full, no refunds. He realized that while his World Bank accounts had been seized, hers flourished. Bright studio lights warmed Lara's face as she settled into the leather chair opposite renowned journalist Funk Akinbode. Cameras rolled. The red tally light glowed. Funk, smiling, Lara Onuoha, entrepreneur, author, and now viral figure in the fight against financial abuse. Thank you for joining us. Lara, composed, thank you for having me. Funk leaned forward. Your story has resonated with millions. What changed for you, personally, when you decided to go public rather than handle this privately? Lara, I realized that so many women endure financial betrayal in silence, shamed into secrecy. By sharing my experience, I hope to empower others to speak up and demand accountability. Funk nodded. Your foundation launches next week with a summit on financial literacy. What can attendees expect? Lara, workshops on budgeting basics, legal clinics for asset protection, and mentorship from industry leaders. We're partnering with banks and legal firms to ensure no woman feels alone. Funk turned to the camera. Lara, what's your message to those who doubt their own power? Lara, direct to camera, your worth is not defined by what others take from you, but by what you build from your own strength. Speak out, seek help, and reclaim your narrative. Applause filled the studio. Backstage, her PR team exchanged proud smiles. Clips of the interview flooded social media within minutes. Hashtag own your power and hashtag Lara Onuoha trended. As Lara exited the studio, her phone buzzed with a message from Funk. Funk. Incredible. We've scheduled a primetime special next month. Your story in full. Get ready. Lara paused on the street, night lights shimmering on slick pavement. She looked up at the city skyline. Once her battlefield, now her stage. A single tear traced down her cheek, not of sorrow, but of profound triumph. She tapped the message back. I'm ready. Then she tucked her phone away and walked into the glow of the future she'd forged, undaunted, unstoppable, and entirely her own. Lara awoke to a stream of congratulatory messages. Her phone screen glowed with dozens of notifications, journalists, women's groups, even fellow authors. The email she'd been waiting for lay at the top of her inbox. From Emerald, house at publishing.ng. Subject, Manuscript proposal. With trembling fingers, she tapped it open. The message was succinct. Dear Ms. Onuoha, we are thrilled by your proposal, Reclaiming Trust, a woman's guide to financial empowerment. We would like to offer you a 6-figure advance and a 2-book contract. Let's meet to discuss next steps. Warmly, Adesawa Emeka, Senior Editor, Emerald House. Lara blinked, then read it again. 6 figures. 2 books. She sat back, heart hammering. Just months ago, her biggest worry was hiding her tears. Now a publisher wanted her story. Unvarnished, raw, triumphant. That afternoon, she arrived at Emerald House's Lagos office in Victoria Island. Polished marble floors reflected afternoon light. Staff in sharp suits smiled as she passed. In the boardroom, Adesawa Emeka stood to greet her, vibrant and poised. Adesawa, rising, Lara, congratulations, and thank you for entrusting us with your story. Lara, smiling, slightly awed, thank you for seeing its value. They sat at a long walnut table strewn with sample covers and marketing proposals. Adesawa leaned forward, tapping a glossy mock-up. Adesawa, we envision a hardcover release, nationwide bookstore placement, and translation rights. The working title is your name, Lara Onuoha, Own Your Power. We'll expand the memoir into 2 volumes. The first covers the scandal and legal battle. The second will focus on your foundation's journey. Lara studied the mock-up. Her own face blinked back at her from the cover, a poised, confident version. She inhaled. Lara, I want the chapters to resonate beyond my experience, practical advice, case studies, and actionable steps for women everywhere. Adesawa, absolutely. We'll pair each chapter with exercises, resources, and profiles of women who've overcome similar challenges. As they hammered out contract details, royalty rates, timelines, marketing events, Lara felt the full force of her transformation. No longer silent, no longer hidden. Her betrayal had become her platform, her pain a path for others. Later, standing in the lobby, emerald green contract in hand, Lara paused. A young woman approaching the reception desk stared at the folder. Receptionist. A book deal. Congratulations, Ms. Onuoha. The woman turned, shy but eager. Young woman. Ms. Onuoha? I just want to say, your story gave me courage to freeze my ex's card after he seized my salary. Thank you. Lara's eyes misted. She knelt to the woman's level. Lara, thank you for sharing that. Keep standing up for yourself. The pair embraced. As Lara walked away, Emerald House receding behind her, she felt a surge of purpose. Her book would be more than ink on paper, it would be a rallying cry. Yet in the back of her mind lingered Tolu's defeated expression, Mama Ronk's regret. Would they see her book in stores? Would they read her words? The thought flickered uneasily, but she pushed it aside. This was her moment, her voice amplified on every shelf from Lagos to London. That evening, as she reviewed final proofs at home, her phone pinged with a late-night email from her editor. One more thing, Tolu Onuoha has reached out, requesting an excerpt for his side. Thoughts. Lara's fingertips froze over the keyboard. Tolu's workplace had always felt like an extension of himself. Oak panel boardrooms, afternoon teas in the lounge, colleagues greeting him with deference. But this morning the atmosphere was icy. He arrived at Dorset Properties' Ikoyi headquarters hoping to salvage something, an apology memo, perhaps a quiet desk job away from the scandal. Instead, his assistant, Folktales, met him with a grave expression. Folktales, softly, sir. The board meeting is starting in conference room A. They've asked for you specifically. Her words echoed like a death knell. Tolu straightened his tie and walked down the marbled corridor, every step heavier than the last. The boardroom doors loomed ahead. Through the frosted glass he read, Dorset Properties Board Meeting, 9 a.m. He entered to find all 7 directors seated, faces inscrutable. Chairman, without preamble, Mr. Onuoha, please take a seat. Tolu sat. A long moment passed. Chairman, we've reviewed the recent developments, public scandal, fraud allegations, legal freezes. This firm's reputation is at stake. His steely gaze bored into Tolu. What do you have to say? Tolu swallowed, voice trembling. I deeply regret my actions. I betrayed my wife's trust and, by extension, my own. I am sorry. A director cleared his throat. Apologies are noted, but our clients demand assurance. We cannot have a partner under investigation continuing to lead deals. Another director chimed in. I propose we suspend you with immediate effect, pending resolution of legal matters. Tolu's heart pounded. Please, just allow me to prove myself. I'll step back from public duties, focus on internal projects. The chairman raised a hand.
No.
We must act swiftly. Effective today, your role is terminated. We will arrange severance and transfer your cases to other partners. The gavel-like finality slammed home. Tolu opened his mouth, but no words came. He rose, nodded mutely, and left the room. As he passed Folake in the hallway, her eyes brimmed with pity. Folake, quiet, I'm so sorry, sir. He forced a polite nod but did not reply. In his office a few doors down, he packed his belongings, framed family photos, certificates, his laptop. He paused over a sepia-toned photo of himself, Lara and Mama Ronk on their first wedding anniversary, smiling, hopeful. He placed it gently in a box. Before he left, he opened his desk drawer one last time. A folder lay inside, financial statements showing his Dubai and Lisbon accounts. The files were locked by Lara's legal team. He exhaled, shut the drawer, and stood. Security guards ushered him down. Photographers from business magazines snapped shots as he descended the steps into the parking lot. His luxurious black sedan had been repossessed. He hailed a cab, head bowed. Meanwhile, back in Lagos, an anonymous tipster emailed the Daily Lagos Post a link to an unedited clip from the Zanzibar yacht incident, the one where Tolu was denied payment mid-laugh. The post went viral within hours, spawning thousands of comments. Lara checked the website at home, sipping chamomile tea. Headline: Scandal deepens. Former Dorset partner loses yacht and job in one day. She sighed, torn between vindication and lingering guilt. Is this necessary? She wondered. But the truth, once unleashed, could not be recaptured. As she prepared for bed, her phone blinked. Another email. Subject: Crisis interview? From Editorial at Business Report, NG. Would you comment on the latest leak and your former husband's termination? She stared at the message. The public narrative was still unfolding, and her words could shape it further, or invite unwanted sympathy for Tolu. She drafted a reply, then paused, finger hovering over send, unsure if she wanted to fuel the flames or let the story burn itself out. Mama Ronk's world had shrunk to the glare of her smartphone's camera. Desperate to reclaim dignity, she set up her ring light in her study at dusk, draping herself in a modest blouse. A tripod held her phone at eye level. With trembling hands, she tapped record. Mama Ronk, voice wavering, hello, everyone. I want to apologize. My behavior at the Zanzibar resort was inexcusable. I let my pride and entitlement get the better of me. I am truly sorry to the staff, to the guests, and especially to my daughter-in-law, Lara Onuoha. Her voice cracked. She paused, swallowed, and continued. Mama Ronk, my son made mistakes, yes, but I compounded them by defending him blindly. For that, I am ashamed. I ask for your forgiveness and hope you can see me beyond this scandal. She pressed stop, then replayed the footage. Tears glistened on her cheeks. Her hair was slightly unkempt. Satisfied it looked sincere, she uploaded it to Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook with the caption, owning mistakes and asking for forgiveness. #sorry, #lessons learned. Within minutes, comments poured in. At Real Talking, actions speak louder than words. Where was this apology when the manager was suffering? At Mama Drama Lover, you're just desperate for attention. At Forgive Forward, it takes courage to admit wrongdoing. I respect that. Even broadcaster Funk Akinbode weighed in on her evening show. Funk, on screen, Mama Wrong's apology is heartfelt. Or is it PR? We'll discuss. Lara watched the backlash from her home office, arms folded. She felt a pang of sympathy for the older woman's humiliation, but it was fleeting. This was Mama Wrong's moment of reckoning. The next morning, Mama Wrong's phone buzzed with notifications, television interviews, talk show invites, and harsh editorials. She slumped in her armchair, phone in hand, wishing she could vanish. A knock at her apartment door startled her. It was her lawyer's assistant, clutching an envelope. Assistant, Ms. Onuoha requested you receive this. Confused, Mama Wrong opened the letter. It was from Lara's legal team. Dear Mrs. Onuoha, we acknowledge your apology. However, please be advised that the civil lawsuit for damages related to your conduct at the Sea Breeze Resort remains in force. We anticipate a court hearing on August 5th. Sincerely, Chucks and Partners. Mama Wrong's hands shook. Forgiveness had been costly, and the legal battle was far from over. As she sank onto her sofa, her phone pinged with a DM from an unknown number. Meet me. I have proof your apology won't save you. The screen went dark. 2 weeks later, Lara stood on a brightly lit stage at the Lagos International Conference Center. A banner behind her read, Own Your Power Summit, Financial Freedom for Women. Hundreds of attendees, students, professionals, mothers, filled the auditorium, clapping as she stepped to the podium. Her opening words were crisp and compelling. Lara, welcome. Today we turn the pages on a story not just about me, but about all of us. No more silent suffering. It's time to own our power, financially, emotionally, and legally. She proceeded through a high-energy keynote, identifying red flags in relationships, setting up joint accounts, understanding credit reports, and establishing emergency funds. The audience hung on every tip. She paused to introduce a surprise guest, Ada, her college friend who had first alerted her to the resort videos. Ada, stepping forward, I'm here because Lara taught me that solidarity among women is our greatest asset. Ada's heartfelt testimony drew tears. Lara smiled, then introduced breakout sessions, legal clinics, budgeting workshops, and networking circles. In the hallways, small groups formed, women exchanging stories and resources. Later, Lara spotted a young attendee at the back of the hall, a teenage girl clutching a worn notebook. She recognized the same quiet determination in her eyes that haunted her own early struggles. Lara approached. Lara, you look familiar. Have we met? Teen girl, nervous, I watched your interview last week. You inspired me to open a savings account instead of giving my allowance to my boyfriend. Lara's eyes shone. That's exactly why we're here. She embraced the girl, then turned to the crowd. Lara, into microphone, if we stop underestimating ourselves, we can build empires, brick by brick. As the summit closed, journalists swarmed her for interviews. Cameras clicked as she posed with attendees who'd received microgrants from her foundation. Social media lit up with the hashtag #OwnYourPowerSummit trending nationwide. Meanwhile, across town, Tolu sat in a dim bar nursing whiskey. He tried to attend the summit incognito, but was recognized and asked to leave. Through the bar's TV screen, he caught a news segment celebrating Lara's success. Reporter, on TV, Lara Onuoha's foundation raised 20 million Nigerian nairas today, empowering over 2,000 women. Tolu's throat tightened. The man who had once controlled her finances now watched her empower thousands. He downed his drink and stood. The chapter ends on Lara walking off stage, her silhouette framed by cheering attendees, while Tolu, in the bar's shadow, looks on, realization dawning that the woman he underestimated had become unstoppable. 9 months later, dawn's golden light spilled across the white sand beach of the very resort where her ordeal had begun. Lara stood barefoot at the water's edge, the gentle waves lapping at her ankles. She inhaled the salt-tinged air, closing her eyes in serenity. A sleek canvas beach chair awaited her, a coconut drink resting on a side table. She sank into the chair, letting the sunlight warm her skin. On her lap lay a well-worn copy of her memoir's manuscript, second edition, now translated into 3 languages. Beside it, a new, platinum-hued credit card bearing her name. Lara Onuoha, platinum member. She flexed the card between her fingers and smiled. Once, her finances had been hijacked. Now, she held control. A server approached. Server, smiling, more coconut water, Ms. Onuoha? Lara, yes, please, and a fruit platter. He departed, and Lara leaned back. Behind her, the resort staff bustled, unaware of her past battle. She turned, gazing at the coral facade. The same halls where Mama Ronk had raged, where Tolu had been shamed, were now her peaceful haven. Her phone chimed with a single notification, an invitation to speak at the United Nations Women's Empowerment Forum next spring. She tapped open the message, exhaled slowly, and typed, "I'm honored. Count me in." She set the phone aside. A gentle breeze rustled the palm fronds overhead. For the first time since the scandal, there was nothing to plan, no fight to wage, only the quiet triumph of her own liberated spirit. Lara closed her eyes, lifted her drink, and whispered to the horizon. Lara softly, to the next chapter. The sun climbed higher as she sipped, a contented smile on her lips. In this moment, peace never looked or felt better.
The end.